What if I told you that in the middle of the world's most intense pressure-filled sporting event, when blades are carving into Olympic ice, when hearts are pounding in 20,000-seat arenas, the song wrapping around that moment was a quiet confession from Jin. Not a power anthem, not a dramatic symphony, but Don't Say You Love Me. And it didn't happen once. It happened 3 times at the 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Olympics. Let's slow this down and really take it in. February 9th. Canadian pair skaters Leah Pereira and Trent Michaud finish their free skate. The arena is still buzzing from the lifts, the throws, the almost breathless final pose. There's that sacred Olympic silence, the few seconds where the world collectively exhales. And then, Jin's voice fills the stadium. Soft, emotional, steady. The atmosphere shifts from competitive electricity to something almost intimate. Cameras catch skaters hugging, coaches wiping tears, fans swaying gently in their seats. It felt less like background music and more like the emotional epilogue to everything we just witnessed on the ice. Then February 11th. Italian skater Daniel Grassel completes his short program. The tension is thick, technical elements under scrutiny, scores about to flash on screen. And once again, that melody begins. The refreshing but restrained tone of Don't Say You Love Me cuts through the arena. It doesn't overpower the moment, it cradles it. And just when you think it might have been coincidence, February 18th. Swiss skater Kimi Rapond finishes her short program. Young, graceful, vulnerable under Olympic lights. The crowd applauds. And for the 3rd time, the same song rises through the speakers. 3 separate days. 3 different athletes. One emotional thread tying them together. Clips start circulating globally. Fan cams from Korea, broadcast replays from Europe, commentary panels replaying the moment. Social media lighting up with the same question: how did this song fit figure skating so perfectly? Because Don't Say You Love Me isn't just structured like a pop song. It unfolds, it breathes, it builds tension and release the way a skating routine does. There's restraint in the verses, like controlled edges on ice. And then emotional lift in the chorus, like a jump suspended in air before gravity pulls it back down. This is the title track from Jin's 2nd solo mini-album Echo, released May 16, 2025. And from the very beginning, it wasn't just successful, it was historic. On May 25, 2025, the song topped the Spotify Global chart, making Jin the first Asian artist to hit #1 among songs released that year. It went on to become the most played K-pop song on Spotify in 2025. But here's what makes this even more powerful. The Olympics are not a K-pop awards show. They're not a fan event. They're not curated for one fandom. They're a global stage, where athletes, broadcasters, and organizers choose music that represents universal emotion. And 3 times, they chose Jin. And this wasn't his first quiet takeover of global broadcasts. In December, Don't Say You Love Me was featured on France's Got Talent, woven into primetime European television. Earlier, his solo track Running Wild was played during an NFL broadcast on CBS in the United States. Different languages, different industries, different audiences, same emotional impact. And while his solo voice was echoing through Olympic arenas in Italy, something equally significant was happening back home. February 2026, Star Brand Reputation rankings were released. And at #1, BTS. Out of over 242 million pieces of analyzed big data, participation, media coverage, communication volume, community engagement, BTS secured the top position with a brand reputation index of 7,992,722. Second place went to Lim Young-woong. Third place to Yoo Hae-jin. And when you look at the broader top rankings, names like Blackpink, Sun Heung-min, 17, and aespa, you realize how competitive that ecosystem is. Yet BTS remains first. Even during a period where overall brand big data volume dropped by over 13% industry-wide. That means something. It means sustained attention, sustained loyalty, sustained emotional investment. And here's the poetic symmetry. While the group dominates brand power rankings, one member's voice becomes the emotional soundtrack to Olympic figure skating. That's duality. That's individual artistry thriving within collective legacy. Jin isn't standing on stage performing for screaming fans in those Olympic moments. He's not visible. There are no light sticks. Just a voice filling cold air in a massive stadium. as skaters process the performance of their lives. And maybe that's what makes it so beautiful. Because sometimes impact isn't loud. Sometimes it's a song that gently follows an athlete's final pose. Sometimes it's a melody that softens competitive tension into shared humanity. Sometimes it's a quiet confession, "Don't say you love me," becoming a global embrace anyway. So when future fans rewatch those Olympic clips, they won't just see jumps and spins. They'll hear it, that steady voice, that emotional undercurrent. And they'll remember the moment when figure skating and Jin's artistry met under the same winter lights. And honestly, that feels like history.